Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly. Welcome to my game room. Today we're going to be talking about my PS3 collection. This was the first console I bought after I started collecting that was new and came out. So it's like the games were coming out and I saw something that I thought might be interesting or rare or obscure. I just went ahead and picked it up. And so I ended up with a lot of like really unique stuff on this system. I can almost guarantee that there's some stuff in here that you've probably never heard of before. So sit back and relax. Let's go through these games. And also, like always, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps out the channel. Let's do it. So first up, let me show you the console. This is my original PS3. I have the slim model. I bought this right after it came out. And this is the original one that I've had. I'm still playing it. It's still hooked up to the TV right over here. Very cool shape on this console. But of course, no PS3 console would be complete without the fat, backwards compatible PS3. All PlayStation 3s will play PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 1 games, I think. Maybe the Ultra Slim doesn't. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Most of them do. But only this one was PlayStation 2 backwards compatible, and I think this just has like a PlayStation 2 in it. There's just like a whole other console in here, and this thing is heavy. I bet it weighs like 10 plus pounds or so. Man, that's crazy. First up, we have a game that came out, and I just knew right away when I saw it that this was going to be like a rare, or not rare, but like a highly sought after game at some point. Sometimes you can just tell, and I was right. This game's like $100+ now on the PS3. Everybody wants it. It's a console exclusive, and it's 3D Dot Game Heroes. This is a really cool game. It plays like Zelda: A Link to the Past, but has this unique like tilt-shifted pixelated sort of blocky graphics that I've never seen anywhere before or since. And it looks really cool. But one of the giveaways, guys, that something's going to be like a sought after game is just look for this in the bottom. If you see Atlas at the bottom of your game, they did not print very many copies of it. Unless it's like Persona or something like that. Shin Megami Tensei. The stuff that they publish is usually pretty obscure. This is the sequel to a game that I played on the PC in college. It's done by a guy named American McGee, and he does a lot of like weird, kind of almost Tim Burton-esque content. Anyway, this is Alice Madness Returns. This is like a gothic horror 3D platformer. I have not played this. This has been sitting in the backlog for like 10 years or something. It's one of the like oldest games in my backlog. It'll get picked eventually. It's getting up there. This is a fighting game done by Platinum Games. I don't remember if I even played this or not. I think this might still be in my backlog. It's called Anarchy Reigns. I picked this up at a yard sale somewhere. It's got a lot of that like early 2010s kind of attitude look to it. Sometimes that could be a little bit much. There's a certain game series coming up here, like the very next one that like personifies that mentality. And that's Army of Two, the 40th Day. I think this is the sequel. This is like a co-op, third-person cover-based game, kind of trying to like rip off the Gears of War style gameplay. This was not, I don't think the Army of Two games were very good. I beat the first one with my buddy, and I tried playing this with my wife, and she got like very frustrated playing it. And I have to tell you, she wasn't wrong. I was frustrated playing it too. It was like clunky, and some of the controls were counterintuitive, and it was like super hard at points and super easy at others. Anyway, this game has some notoriety because it was pretty much a middling game, like from every review source. Like it got 6s and 5s and 7 out of 10 kind of scores from like IGN and GameSpot and all those places. And then it was featured in that 1001 Games You Must Play Before You Die book. Like the inclusion of this over so many other great games was baffling to so many people, including me. And so this game got into a little bit of notoriety. Anyway, I paid $9 or $10 for it from GameStop, obviously, and honestly, this probably came like in a buy two, get one free kind of deal. This was a really cool game, and I enjoyed it a lot. I have a big complaint about it. That's Asura's Wrath. And this had some hype behind it when it came out, but it kind of like, it's fallen to the wayside over time. Nobody really mentions it anymore. But Capcom did this, and the complaint about this was that the final chapter of the game was locked behind a paywall. So you buy this game and you play like 10 hours or so beating it, and it was fairly challenging at times, and you get to the last chapter, and Capcom was like, pay $10 to play the last chapter and see the ending. And I was like, what? It was like DLC, and people were furious about that. And as far as I know, there's no complete edition of this game that you can buy and play without downloading that DLC. So when like the servers go down in the future, guys, like how are we going to finish this game? I don't know. I didn't finish it. I didn't pay for the DLC. Like I refused to do it, but I still had a good experience with it. I thought it was a decent game. People have recommended this game to me, or this series of games. I feel like there's like 150 games in this series, and they just keep coming out like every 14 days. There's a new one just came out. There's always a new one that just came out. Anyway, it's the Atelier. I want to say Atelier. Atelier, French for store, right? Am I right on that? Don't hold me to that either. Atelier Rorona. And I bought the collector's edition of this when it came out on the PS3 just because I thought it looked cool. And this is your standard like anime style RPG that we've all seen a million times. But the deal with this is you're like the shopkeeper in the game. And so you go out and you kill slimes and monsters and stuff to gather materials to buy, or to gather stuff to make objects that the real adventurers come and buy from your shop. Fair enough. My complaint with this, like I said, I've played a couple of these and they both had this mechanic. I don't know if they all do, but there's like a time limit that's constantly going. So it's like the Monster Festival is on June 5th or something. So you need to like grind and get all this stuff by June 5th so you have enough supply to meet the demand of the adventurers that come to your shop. And I hate time limits in games. I want to sit back and relax and go at my own leisurely pace. I don't want to be like pressured all the time. I'm pressured at work. I don't want to come home and also be pressured to do a job in a game. So I did finish this, but I didn't have a great time with it. I thought it was pretty generic other than just its unique idea. People are going to hate me for this. I think this is one of two greatest hits that I have on the PlayStation 3, and I got this at a yard sale or at a pawn shop for $1 or something, but it's the Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year edition. I know everybody loved this. Like, it was Game of the Year, obviously. People just were, they just swooned over it. I did not like this game. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just kind of like don't like Batman. I just don't like Batman. I don't know what it is. I've seen Batman movies I really liked. I like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies and like haven't seen the new one. I liked the Michael Keaton Batman movies, but like this, I don't know what it was about it. I just didn't like the Arkham Asylum setting or something. So I played like halfway through this and gave up. Let me know if it like gets better. I mean, everybody loved the combat, but like I'm just not a huge comic book guy. And my complaint with superheroes is that like I want to relate to like the characters that I'm reading about or watching or playing as in a game. And it's hard to relate to superheroes because they're like by definition above us, right? They're heroes, which are standout individuals from society, and then they're above that even. So like I have a hard time relating to it. So Batman not having any superpowers other than being like intelligent and ultra rich, he should be more relatable, and I guess he is, but I guess I just don't like his brooding attitude. I think like Tony Stark is maybe a better variant of Batman because he's like cordial and whimsical and, plucky as opposed to like dark and brooding and angry like the Batman, Anyway, I gave up on this one, guys. I'm sorry. I picked this up for $1 or something at a GameStop. I played it for a little bit. I just couldn't get into it. This game's all about the multiplayer. I like the single-player campaigns in Call of Duty games. I thought this would be similar, but it just kind of wasn't. It's Battlefield 3. This one I reviewed on my channel not that long ago. It was done by Quantic Dreams, David Cage, the guy that did like Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain. Anyway, it was Beyond Two Souls. It was pretty decent. I gave it like a 7 out of 10. But go watch that video if you want to know more about what I think about this game. In this generation, the Xbox 360 was my preferred console for cross-platform releases. So like if it came out on everything, I usually got on the Xbox 360 with a few exceptions. This one I got on the PS3. I don't know why. I played the 2 games before it on the Xbox 360, but this game's fantastic. It's a 10 out of 10 kind of game, and it's BioShock Infinite. I loved this game. This is an unbelievably good game. Very influential to me, and I really liked it a lot. I never played the DLC. I have the complete edition on the PS4 with the DLC included. I'm going to get to it eventually. I have played this game, but not this one specifically. I played the first one in the series, but it's BlazBlue, or BlazBlue as we all used to say when it came out, so we didn't know. This is like an Axis anime style fighting game. These are usually pretty fun and fast paced. I like fighting games. I'm not great at them. They take too much time commitment to sort of perfect what you need to do to be good at the games. And BlazBlue's pretty gnarly in terms of its mechanics, so it's kind of hard to jump into casually. Still, I do like the art style of these, and I'm looking forward to playing this one when it finally gets picked for me to play. You guys may have heard me mention, I have like a short temper when it comes to anime stuff. Anime to me feels like something I should like, and I just can't seem to get into it, although there are some animes I really enjoy, and one that I like a lot is Bleach. Despite all its filler, I'm happy that it's come back and they're finishing off the series. But I picked this up. It's Bleach. Was it Soul Resurrection? Soul Resurrection. This is another fighting game using the characters from Bleach, of which there are about, 7,000 or so, to say the least. There's so many characters. But I have not played this. I'll get to it one day. It's another fighting game. I wrote a review for this on GameFAQs, and like years after the game was popular, 10 years or something. And everybody talked about this game when it came out, and it's Blur, and it's like a hyper-realistic, I would say almost like Gran Turismo mixed with Mario Kart. So you have like weapons and stuff you can use. Anyway, I don't know how the multiplayer was on this, because I played it like 10 years after the servers went down. But I will say this, the single player in this game is the most unbalanced crap I have ever seen in my life. You have to to advance to certain races or to fight your rivals. You have to get like so many medals and like the different tracks before it, and it is so hard. Like, you'll have a car that is like noticeably better than your opponent, and they just like slingshot ahead of you. Like, they're just programmed to stay ahead of you the whole race. So there's a lot of luck involved with this one when playing it single player, and it kind of killed it for me. I would say this is like a bad game single player. Although it looks cool and it's a cool idea, it is just not fun to play by yourself. It is just not. I'm sorry. Like, I think the multiplayer is where it was with this one. This got a release on the PS4 through, I think, Limited Run Games, but for the longest time, this is like a Japanese-only import. It's a shoot-'em-up. It's Caladrius Blaze. It's pretty cool. It's a nice sort of modern take on a vertical shoot-'em-up, and lots of different characters. It's okay. It's got those like blocky sort of pre-rendered backgrounds that kind of look like everything from that time period when this came out. I thought this was an okay game. I've played it when it first came out. I imported it and thought it was really good, and then I played it again recently, like less than a year ago, and it fell like a couple of points. So it's just an okay game. It's kind of cool. It has like this mechanic where as your ship takes damage, like your main character's clothes kind of like fall off. That seems to be like a theme in a lot of Japanese games I play. That's not intentional, guys, I promise. Or is it? I'm just kidding. But you can see like on the front, they've like prominently shown her clothes getting destroyed. It doesn't like show anything, but I don't know. It's not like in the hentai category or anything like that. This one's okay. If you're looking for a shoot 'em up to play on like a PS3 or a PS4, you could do a lot worse than this one. I've not played this yet. I bought it to play the single player campaign. I picked it up at a GameStop for $1 or something on clearance, but it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 online. That was the last Call of Duty I ever played online, guys. Since then, I've just been playing single player campaigns, and they're usually pretty fun. If you can pick them up for $1 or $2, it's worth your time typically. Same thing with this one. I picked this up at a yard sale. It's Black Ops, same sort of deal. Black Ops 2, Probably came from the same house. I probably bought this. Some kid was trying to sell all his stuff to get like a PS4 or whatever, and you know, put it out for $2 a game. Okay, this game, I had it on my wish list when it was like destined to come out. It had not come out yet. When it came out, I read the reviews and I was kind of like, I'm not really that into that. And I took it off my wish list, and then it was like on a Metal Jesus video as a hidden gem or something, so I added it back onto the wish list, and then it sat on there forever, and then I took it off. Anyway, I finally found it at a pawn shop and I played it. This is done by the same guy that does Rez. It's like a on-rail rhythm-based shooter, and it's Child of Eden. Is that right? Child of Eden, yeah. It's very psychedelic and cool looking as you play. However, I have to say, I didn't really like this game that much. You can play it with like the Move controller, but I just played it with the standard analog sticks, and it was fine. It was highly touted as being amazing in 3D. I've never played a 3D game like on a normal TV. I skipped that whole gimmick, and I'm glad I did. But I didn't really like Rez that much either. I like rail shooters, but I just never got into like the trance kind of thing. I'm a musician, guys. Like I'm a semi-professional musician part-time, and I do a lot of composition. I record music for like sometimes movie scores and commercials and stuff. And electronic music I like, a bit like trance that's just supposed to put you in this mindset where you're just like zoned out. I don't like that. I'm a big active listener. I like to listen to music that surprises me and has a lot of like changes and nuances and variations, and trance doesn't really do that. And so this game's all about trance music. Anyway, that was a tangent. Sorry, guys. This is another NIS, like Nippon Ichi Software RPG. I've not played this. This is one of those that like I assumed would become like rare, valuable one day. I picked it up because maybe it would be good. Haven't done it. It looks like it has some of the characters from Disgaea in it. I don't know. It's Cross Edge. What is this? Is this a mashup game of a bunch of different series? It says when 5 worlds collide. I don't even know what this is. Anyway, I picked it up also at GameStop, obviously. And I like pulled off the front sticker, and it's like, where is it? There it is. It's sticky. I should probably clean this case. Here's one from another series I've never played. I did not pick this up at Second and Charles, but it's Crysis 3. I've never played any of the Crysis games, despite their notoriety for just like not running on anybody's computer even to this day. I think I found this also probably at a yard sale for a couple bucks. Anyway, this is in the backlog with all the other Crysis games, except for, I don't think I picked up the re-release of Crysis 1. I'm just not that. There's so many first-person shooters, and like, is Crysis supposed to be that good? Like, is it that good? Like, it looks good, right? It's supposed to look great, but is it fun? I don't know. All right, this one's Visceral Games and EA trying to cash in on the God of War series. They came out with this game called Dante's Inferno, where you play as this like despicable crusader who has to go through the like 7 circles of hell, 9 circles of hell. It's been a long time since I've actually read Dante's like literal Inferno or Paradiso or Purgatorio. Anyway, it's been a while. This was kind of weird. It had a cool take on it, but this game was like gross. I mean, you're in hell, of course, but it was like, instead of being like a scary hell, it was just like a gross, disgusting hell with like guts, and you're running like on giant tongues and stuff. And Dante in this, you're playing as Dante, who was an Italian writer, guys. He was not a medieval crusader. He is like a jerk. Like, he's really bad. Like, he's very sinful in the game. That's why he's destined to like go to hell. But he's going down there to like get his girlfriend or his wife or something like that. It played okay. It was fine. I played it just a few years ago, and it wasn't exactly very memorable, to say the least. This is the only game I've played in this series, and I think I own every game in the series. I liked this game when it came out. It was kind of like a gothic horror Legend of Zelda. I thought it was really decent. It's Darksiders, and it has a really sweet... Look at that, man. Look at that. That's how you do a cover on a game. Anyway, I got the platinum in this. I like 100%ed this game. I liked it so much. I think I maybe gave it like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. But after I was done with it, like, I had no desire to play any of the other games, even though I've picked them all up. They're all around on various consoles in here. Darksiders 2 I've got on the PS4, and Darksiders 3. I don't think they've done Darksiders 4 yet, but then they did that spin-off game. Whatever, I've got them all. It was a decent enough game. You play as one of the 4 riders of the Apocalypse. I think he plays War in this one, and he was okay. It was a decent game. This one, on the other hand, was not a decent game. It was Dark Void. This flopped really hard. It was like a third-person cover-based shooter, but it had like jetpack sections, and it was okay. Like, it looked okay, it played okay, it was all right, but it's just kind of like boring. I never finished it, sadly. I should start saying if I finished or like gave up on every game. I beat Dante's Inferno, I beat Darksiders. I gave up on Dark Void about like 3 or 4 hours into it. This one I have not played. I don't know where I grabbed this, at a yard sale or a pawn shop somewhere, but the trailer when this came out made the game look really cool. Everybody was in love with the trailer, and then the game was nothing like it. But it's Dead Island Riptide, and I have the Steelbook. I don't know. There it is. Whatever. Let me know if I think I have regular Dead Island on the Xbox 360. I don't know what Riptide is. This isn't the sequel? Is this a spinoff or something? Let me know. Go down to the comments and let me know what I should do. Should I play them or just not play them at all? Or should I play one and not the other? Should I play Riptide and not the first one, or play the first one and not Riptide? Let me know. I'm just kidding, guys. Everybody in my comments is like really nice and positive. I very rarely get like a negative comment. I do get some messages sometimes for people like asking me to like give them my collection or like send them a PlayStation gift card. And so like I'm happy I'm big enough to get like scammers out there. This game, I played the first game and I really, really liked it. They've just re-released it, the remake. I only played this game like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, so I'm not really ready to play the remake yet on the PS5. Maybe in 5 or 6 years I'll pick it up, but I haven't played this one. It's Dead Space 2. We all know about Dead Space, a cool survival horror game. It moves more and more and more into like the action territory as it goes along. I do know that. So the first one was like straight up survival horror. This one's a little bit more actiony. I'm okay with that. We'll give it a shot. We're to the very first game I ever bought on the PlayStation 3. I bought it the day I got my PlayStation 3. And it was the first game I ever played on a PlayStation 3. And it's Demon Souls, a fantastic game. The spiritual predecessor to Dark Souls, and I loved this game. I played the crap out of it with my friend, like not with at the same time, but like he was playing it at the same time I was playing it. We would discuss like notes. There wasn't a big like online community around this game yet, and like trying to figure out how the world tendency and stuff worked in this game was like mind racking. And I was for a while trying to go through and get all the trophies on it, but it was too hard without a guide, guys. It was rough. So anyway, this is a fantastic game. I love it. Phenomenal. This is a beloved series. Everybody really likes it. I've always been kind of like about it. I'm not a big like cyberpunk kind of guy. Sorry. I mean, maybe that's not so bad anymore because like Cyberpunk 2077 was such a flop. Although I do want to play that. If they ever come out with like a fixed complete edition on like a next gen console, I'll try it. If they come out with a PS5 version of it that's like the Game of the Year edition, I'll get that one. But that being said, it's Deus Ex Human Revolution. This was okay. People complained that there wasn't a lot of choice in this game. Like in the original Deus Ex, you could beat the game without ever having to like fight anyone. You could just talk your way through everything. And this one, apparently, like that didn't happen. Like you would, if you decided to put all your focus in charisma or like hacking or whatever, you would still get to boss fights where you had to like fight an enemy with like a grenade launcher or something. And there was like no way to win if you hadn't leveled up your like attack power or something. Anyway, I thought it was okay. I did beat this one, but I didn't want to go through and get all the trophies. I thought it was an okay game. The only time I cut class in my entire life I was in college. The only time I ever cut class in my entire life to play a video game was to go by and play the first Devil May Cry. And I played for like 15 minutes, and then my roommate took the controller and just proceeded to beat the game straight through. And I watched him play it. I have not played Devil May Cry, the first one, since. And I have not played Devil May Cry 2, and I have not played Devil May Cry 3. But I have beaten 4 and 5. So anyway, here's the trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. This is in the backlog, all 3 of these games. I'm gonna finally play them. I like the Devil May Cry series. I kind of like, 3D, third person, like hack and slash games. I also beat this one. I thought the story was okay and the character was kind of like, eh. But this is DMC. This is the, who did this one? Was it Ninja Theory? Anyway, this is kind of like a soft reboot of it, and they like changed Dante to make him like a more brooding, kind of just jerk. Like, he's just a jerk. He's just a big jerk. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I do know how else to say it, but I'm not going to say it on here. Anyway, the game it has the same problem as Dante Inferno. It's just like gross. Like, all the enemies are just gross, like vomiting, huge, nasty, disgusting entities, and like the world's gross looking. And I don't know, man. I'm not that into gore. It doesn't bother me. In my main job, I do see a lot of like gross stuff every day being a scientist, but it's just like off-putting. This game was off-putting. That's a good way to put it. But I finished it. This is a series I really wanted to get into. Everything about it seems really great. I love tactical RPGs. I love tactics games. I played this for several hours. It's Disgaea 3, maybe like 10 hours, and like I was just overwhelmed with what to do. Like, it was just too much for me. So I didn't finish this. I put it down, and I didn't play any more Disgaea games or buy any more Disgaea games until I picked up Disgaea 1 complete on the Switch. And I finished that and really loved it. So I'm interested again in the Disgaea games. We'll try them out. They're on my wish list to pick up over time, but I don't know if I'll go back to Disgaea 3 or not. Here's another Atlas game. This is Vanillaware. Vanillaware, not Vanillasoft. Vanillaware. 2D beat 'em up, really cool graphics. I love this game. I think I got the platinum trophy in it, or very close. Oh no, all my games fell. Dragon's Crown. Man, that's a hard logo to read, but here it is. Another Atlas game. There you go. Anyway, fantastic graphics, cool characters, a lot of fun, very grindy. It wants you to like grind and find items and like constantly level up. And you have to do a lot of playing online with this one. Or I did at the time. I was still playing games online. But I think you can hire like NPCs to help you if you're playing solo, but you need like partners to help you with this one. But you do play the same levels over and over and over and over and over again. And it was kind of refreshing in this one to do that a little bit. I enjoyed this a lot. This game I loved, and this is the only time I think I've ever done this in my life. I 100% beated the game and got like all the trophies. Beated the game, which required me to play through the game 2 whole times. And then we're talking like, this is like a 60-hour RPG. And then they came out with an expansion, and I like bought the expansion and played through the whole flipping game again. I've played through Dragon's Dogma, like 100%ed it like 3 times. And I really liked this series. I'm glad to see they keep re-releasing it and trying to keep it like in the video game zeitgeist out there, but they need to do a sequel to this game. Capcom kind of killed it. It was like a mixture of like Baldur's Gate and like Shadow of the Colossus. Like, you climb up onto the bosses and like attack them from multiple angles. It was really cool. And you have like a party you could play with online. You could hire NPCs. Like, it had an interesting mechanic where like if your friends on your friends list like hired an NPC and leveled it up, you could hire their NPC from them when they weren't playing to play in your game and help you. And then they would get like some of the money for it. So you're like renting out your assistants for use when you weren't playing. Kind of cool. But I really liked this game a lot. A lot. I played this, I think, after the PS4 came out. This is, I guess not a lot of people know this, but like the Nier series, so Nier Automata, Nier is like the spin-off or kind of pseudo-sequel to the Drakengard games. And I have all the Drakengard games, but the first one I ever played was this one. And it's Drakengard 3. And you can tell this is a late-release PS3 game because it has the blue border to make it look like a PS4 game. This was a really interesting game, and I'm surprised Square Enix put this out. I thought this was really a fun, it's a hack and slash 3D game, exploratory game, kind of like Nier Automata. It's in that same line, but it like works in a lot of interesting mechanics, kind of like how Nier did it, different gameplay styles like shoot 'em ups and side scrollers and things like that. But what I remember about this game that was so crazy is you beat the final boss. The boss starts like pulsing and it turns into a rhythm game, and you have to like tap certain buttons at certain times to deal damage to the boss to kill it. Now, killing the boss is not that difficult, but there's a trophy for not missing any of the button prompts, okay? And this section goes on for like minutes, all right? This game does the #1 biggest troll I've ever seen. Is you're doing that section and you're like tapping at this rhythm, and you can see, like, I think you're looking at Giant Flower and these like waves are cascading out, and you press the button right as the waves pass this line. At the very end of the boss, as it's dying, the screen starts fading to black. And there are button presses that are not shown on screen, and you can't see anything, that come at like random times on like random offbeats. So instead of like being like 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like 1, 2, and it slows down, 3, 4, and then the screen fades to black, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and like just 1 at the end of it, just to troll everybody. And it's basically impossible. There's like no way to do it because the tempo's slowing down. You have no visual cues, and some saint on YouTube went through and recorded the whole series and then like set it out on Pro Tools so you could see where the beats were. And instead of like playing the game, I like watched this YouTube video and I pressed the button as the YouTube video flashed. And it would give like countdowns of when it was coming, and I got the trophy, and like nobody got that trophy. Anyway, that was a big trolling moment at the end of a game, and I don't think there was like a good way to go back and replay it without like fighting the final boss again and its 5 forms. Anyway, that always stood out to me that they would do something like that. Like, that's really crazy. That's really crazy to do something like that. And the fact that Square Enix like let that go. Anyway, this is a good game. I would recommend this series. I love the Nier games. I said this is the only Drakengard game I've played, but they tie into each other. This is a hidden gem on the PS3. It's really cool. It's from the Driver series. This is Driver San Francisco. And the claim to fame is this one, and as this one. The claim to fame as this one, because I am this game, that's what I am. No. The claim to fame in this one is that you play as a ghost. The main character dies at the beginning of the game, and you play as a ghost, and you drive around and you crash your car. And as the car's crashing, you teleport your spirit into other cars to like possess the people driving, and you just continue to drive. What a crazy idea for a game that looks so like banal and pedestrian on the front. Pedestrian, that's a funny car joke, right? Pedestrian, commonplace. Anyway, you would never know it looking at this game, but hidden gem. It was pricey for a long time. I don't think this game has ever dropped under like $30, which is a lot for a game when every game on the shelf next to it's $4, you know? Anyway, I have not finished this. I've only played it a little bit, but it was on my wish list a long time, and it was kind of hard to find. This has also been on the backlog since it came out. I was going to play this with my buddies online. It's Dungeon Siege 3. This is like a Diablo clone. I bought it, and then they were all supposed to buy it the day it came out, and then they were like, oh, it got bad reviews, we're not going to play it. So it's been sitting in my backlog, just my co-op backlog for me to play with other people for, when did this game come out? When did came out this game? 2011? 13 years? Oh, man, I'm bad at math. 12 years. 12 years this has been sitting in my backlog, and I have not gotten around to it yet. It's #1 on that list, like in my backlog. I'll play it eventually. Like I said, I've just been waiting on somebody to play it with me. My wife doesn't want to play it, of course. And my little girl's, she's too young to play this game, I think. It says teen. Maybe I'll try it out with her. Maybe she's old enough. She's 9. Anybody out there who's played this, could a 9-year-old play this game and have a good time and it doesn't have any offensive material in it? Let me know. Anyway, it only shows the characters on the back. Doesn't say anything about the game. But it's like Diablo. Ooh, this one's rare. This one's super rare. Okay, I think, was it Capcom? Capcom put out these hack and slash RPGs in the 90s that were based off the Dungeons and Dragons games. And it's like Chronicles of, it's like Shadows over Mystara and Tower of Doom. That's what it is. And they were beloved. They never got like home releases. Anyway, they released them on the PS3 in the United States as digital only. In Japan, they released them physically in a compilation pack. Now, here's the deal with this. One, it's still sealed. I have not opened it. Apparently, the digital versions in the US and Japan are different than the versions on this. And the versions of this that are on this disc are like the only versions of that exist. Like this is it. This is the only place to play them. It's a little bit different than the arcade. There's some changes. I think there's some extra levels or something that they added in for this physical release. This is delisted. You can't get it. Anyway, I own it. I don't know how pricey it is. It's so obscure there's not really like a good value for it. And when I put it into Game Eye doesn't even know how to treat it. So I want to play it, but I don't want to crack it open. It might be worth $1,000, it might be worth $50. Who knows? But I can't download the digital version of it. And there are no ROMs of it because this is the only way to play these versions. So let me know about this one. This one's a head scratcher there. Let me know what I should do. Never played this. This came out on the Xbox 360 as well. It's an Ubisoft RPG. I don't remember much about it. I think it kind of got like middling reviews, but it's Enchanted Arms. Eesh, there we go, focus. Anyway, I paid, what does that say? $4.49 for it. That seems about right. For $5, I couldn't pass it up, but I have not played this. Let me know if it's any good. I did try to play this. This is like a third-person, I don't know, zone-based tactical strategy game that was made to be played online. It's Enemy Territory Quake Wars. I tried playing this solo with bots, and like the bots were like either so dumb they didn't do anything, or they were unbelievably ruthless. I didn't think this was very good. I gave up on this one after a few hours. This is a double clearance from Walmart. I've never played this series. I know Keiji Inafune. That's the guy who did Mega Man and Mighty Number 9. Kenji, I can't remember his name. The guy who did Resident Evil 4. Anyway, this is supposed to be his like comeback to survival horror proper. Anyway, he put out The Evil Within. It was $10 at Walmart, and then they marked it down to $5. So I picked it up. It's still sealed. I have not played this. It's in the backlog. I have part 2 on the PS4. I'll get to them one day. Played a little bit of this when my buddy gave it to me when he moved away. He moved across country. He didn't want to carry a lot of his stuff with him, and understandably, because moving's expensive. But he gave me a bunch of his PS3 stuff, and this is one of them. It's Formula 1 Championship Edition. It's a Formula 1 driving game. I like racing games okay, but I prefer arcade racers. This is like the most sim racing game of all time, where you're like, you know, adjusting the treads on your tires kind of stuff. Like, it's just too much. So I only played this one a little bit. It was a little too hard for me. I do like cars, but I don't like cars that much. Everyone's told me for years and years and years I've got to play this. I'm going to get into this. Watch my next video, my Beating the Backlog video, where I talk about not this game, but this series. It's Fallout New Vegas. I have not played this. I have not touched it. I know this is supposed to be the best one. God, my stuff keeps falling over. Spoilers for my upcoming video. I have a hard time with the modern Fallout games. Not a hard time like playing them, just a hard time enjoying them. I hope this is good enough to like make me overcome that. So I know Obsidian made this, I think. So I've played a few Obsidian games. I thought they were decent, but I know everybody loves this one. We'll play it eventually. This is the first game I ever had on the PlayStation 2. I did play the sequel a little bit. I thought it was kind of cool, but I think my college roommate had it or something, and he like traded it in when I was in the middle of playing it. I never finished it. Anyway, I'm going to go back and play the sequel to this. I'm familiar with the first game, but it's the Final Fantasy X, X, and X2 pack. I mean, the first one was pretty decent. I thought it was a good game. The second one you play is like all the females from the game, and it's like they're like idols, like pop stars, and they like change outfits and stuff. It could be cool. I don't know. I only played a few hours on the second game, so we'll play it. Okay, everybody gave crap to this game and said it was like the worst game ever. I did not think it was the worst game ever. I thought it was a fairly decent RPG. I did play it and I finished it, and I thought it was cool, and I liked the main character. Although, what was the little boy's name? Hope? He's like one of the most irritating characters in any game I've ever seen. Anyway, it's Final Fantasy 13. And for some reason, when like I said, I preferred most things on the Xbox 360, but I, for some reason, chose to stick with RPGs on the PS3. I don't know why. Something in my head, like, associated RPGs and PlayStation. So I went with RPGs on the PS3. So I did finish this one. I think I got almost every trophy in it. And then this one I thought was even better, and I almost got every trophy in it too. It was Final Fantasy 13-2. I thought this was good. It's got a really cool cover. It has lightning on the front, and you actually don't even play as her during the game. You play as her sister, who was arguably a better character. Then, many years passed. Many. I played these like when they came out, like the day they came out. This one, I picked up later, like cheap, and then like it went into the backlog with everything else. And I played this 3 or 4 years ago, and I thought it was a terrible game. It's Final Fantasy 13-3 Lightning Returns, or Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. This game is awful. It is bad. You play as Lightning, and the world's going to end in like 5 days or whatever. And it's another one of these games that has a time limit, and I hate time limits in games. But you just run around like flipping doing fetch quests. And like the more fetch quests you do, the more it extends your time. It's like a game designed around wasting your time. And I really did not like this game. I played about 10 hours of it and was like furious with it. Like, had heavy animosity towards this game. Not just slightly irritated, like mad at the game. So that's how I feel about this one. This is so bad. I don't know where this came from. This might have been from my buddy also that like moved across the country, but it's Fists of the North Star, Ken's Rage. I think this is just like a 3D beat 'em up game. I mean, most of the Fist of the North Star games are just involve punching, right? So anyway, that's what this is. I haven't played it at all. The second this game came out, I was like, that game is going to be highly sought after. That will be highly sought after. I remember it was like $50 or $60 when it came out, and I was like, when it gets to $20, I'll buy it. I bought it at $20 and I played it, and I was like, yep, this game is going to be like the game, like for this system. It's going to be one of the top 5 games on the system that everybody wants. Not today, but 15 years from now. And I was right. There's another one of these games like 3D Game Heroes. It's one of the quintessential collector items for the game, or for the PS3, and it's Folklore. I knew it. You play as this girl or this guy. You can choose either one, and you're visiting this Irish glen or this Irish town, and weird stuff's happening. Monsters are attacking. It's kind of like Pokemon in that you recruit these little demons or sprites or fairies or whatever to fight for you, but it's not like turn-based combat. It's like God of War, like a hack and slash, but your little minions do all the fighting for you. It was pretty good, and I enjoyed it a lot. I loved the atmosphere and the way the game looked, and I thought the characters were really neat. But this is one I just knew it. I knew it, and I was right. Great series, fantastic. I mean, what is there to say about it? God of War collection. It's God of War 1 and God of War 2. Both of these I beat, and I think I got the Platinum Trophy for this collection, like both games off of this collection. The God of War Origins collection, these are the 2 PSP games, Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta. I got the Platinum Trophy on Chains of Olympus. I did not get it all on Ghosts of Sparta. The challenges were really hard on it, and I was just kind of, I think I played all 4 of these like right in a row, and I was just kind of like burned out on God of War after spending like 100 hours playing it. And then God of War 3, I thought this was, until the new God of War, the best God of War by far. I have to say this though, my copy of this game like kept crashing and locking up and having just general technical issues on the PS3. And I played it a while after it came out, like post-patch. And like, I thought maybe my disc was messed up, so I returned it to GameStop and like had the same problem in the same location. And I was like, but maybe that disc is messed up too. So I bought like a brand new copy, same issue. So it's just like the game or my PS3, whatever the case. I had a hard time getting it to work. I had to like go back and load a previous checkpoint, or maybe I think I had to start the game over. That's what it was. It would like crash at a cutscene, and I had to just do it again, praying it didn't crash again. Anyway, I've been meaning to pick this up on the PS4 in case I ever want to play it again, so I maybe don't run into that same issue like 20 years from now. But I thought this is a fantastic game. If you've never played God of War, I don't know how that's possible, but they're the quintessential hack and slash kind of 3D action games, and I think they're phenomenal. With the exclusion of this one, God of War Ascension, I thought this was just okay. This is definitely like a cash grab. I think that they were ready to move on from like the Greek-themed Kratos, and Sony like held them at gunpoint and forced them to put out one more game. It's okay. It like recycles a lot of the same ideas, but it's still very good. It's still a fantastic game. If this hadn't been a God of War game, if it had been the exact same game with a different title on it, people probably would have given it like a 9 out of 10, but we knew how good the other God of War games were, so this was a little bit of a disappointment, and it was like an 8 kind of game. I played a ton of like Gran Turismo 1, 2, and 3, and then like didn't touch 4, and then I got 5. I played it a little bit. I'm just, oh man, every time, like the games fall, every time I grab a new batch, they all fall over. I gotta figure out a better system. I won't, but I'll pretend like I'm doing it. Anyway, like I said, I had moved into like arcade racers, that like grinding for like licenses and getting money for new cars and stuff gets like a little old for me. So it was okay. I mean, it's great if you like that sort of game. You can't go wrong with Gran Turismo, but I said I'm a little burned out on it. Hey guys, I realized as I was recording this video further in and while editing it that it's just way too long. So I decided to split it into multiple videos. So if you just watched this video, it's going to come out on Saturday. It is a Saturday, hopefully when you're watching it. The next video will come out in a couple of days, let's say on Monday. So a couple of extra videos this week. I haven't decided yet if it's going to be split into 2 or 3 videos, but you'll know from the title. So look out. Sorry we didn't have an outro to this one or any closing statements, and I had to kind of cut it abruptly. I apologize for that, but I didn't know of any other better way to do it. So tune in for the next video, and thank you so much for watching if you made it this far.